and welcome to another episode of PC Politics, Real, Raw, Relevant. I'm your host, Phyllis Coley, CEO and publisher of Spectacular Magazine. You know, we are very much in the midst of the 2020 election. Last night, October 22nd, was the final debate, presidential debate. And we are just going to talk about everything happening with the election and things happening with the Joe Biden for President campaign. And with me, joining me now, is the Biden for President State Director, LT McCrimmon. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. Thank you for having me.
Well, listen, let me just get right into it. So what did you think about the debate last night?
You know, the debate was better last night. I think it was tame. It was definitely better ran than the first. But if you ask me, and I'm asking myself a question, who won? I'm a little biased, but I definitely think Joe Biden won hands down.
Yes. And well, I was able to hear the answers to the questions. Not that the question that was asked was necessarily the question that was the answer that was given, but I could hear everything. And I got to give credit to the moderator. You know, it took them to bring in a Black woman to make it run right. I just got to throw that in there too.
It takes a sister to get the job done.
Doesn't it? All the time, every time. But listen, so what is the campaign's message right now to voters?
Sure. We're facing multiple crises in this nation. We're facing a global health pandemic, economic downturn, systemic racism, and a climate crisis. Right now, we have a president who is ignoring these things and has no plan, as we saw last night. Trump isn't fighting for working families. He's working hard for those folks who are rich and who look like him and those folks on Wall Street. And he has no plan for COVID-19. We've all heard the recording. You know, he wanted to play it down because he cares about making sure the stock market is doing well. And he wants to tear up the ACA. He doesn't want us to have health insurance. We need a clear direction here. We need a real leader. You know, that's our plan. And Joe and Kamala Harris have a plan to address the coronavirus, to rebuild our economy, build it back better, and root out systemic racism here, and address the urgent need, the threat of climate change, and make progress on these issues. We can, we must, and we'll make sure that we're making progress with these real leaders. And also, go vote.
Okay, and we talk about go vote. But then what is your message that you would give to Black voters who are cynical about voting?
So if you go on the website, because, you know, nowadays everybody's tied to their phones. We can't do anything else. We can get on that phone and do whatever we want to do.
Correct.
There are clear plans that are laid out. There's one plan that's got a grainy photo, PDF that's kind of thrown up there that says, I've done more for Black folks than Abraham Lincoln. And I'm the least racist person in this room. To me, that says that you're racist.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The fact that you have to point out that you're not. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's another plan that's thoughtful, that's laid out, that addresses the economy, that talks about Black business ownership, talks about helping folks buy homes, talks about schools. I'm a part of not one HBCU, but two HBCUs. I graduated from Shaw University as well as North Carolina Central University.
Eagle Pride. Okay, go
Eagle
ahead.
Pride and Shaw U Bear.
And Shaw U Bear.
We talk about reinvesting in these communities, building back our Black economies. Durham is home of Black Wall Street. Who is better suited to lead our country? Who is better suited to make sure the Black community thrives? Is the Joe Biden Harris ticket. You know, you hear Trump talk about Trump all the time, and he talks about the suburbs. You hear the dog whistles, and we talk about. Let's just be real. When we talk about the suburbs, keeping those people out, who do we think those people are?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. Those two people that were standing outside their mansion with the guns that you invited as we have Black Lives Matter marching by, those people are us.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly.
guess what? We can afford to live in those homes. We can afford to live anywhere we want in this country, and we should.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And while you're talking about suburbs, I
Mhm.
think about the suburbs, I think about families.
That's right.
What will Biden be doing for the Black working families?
That's right. You know, our schools in Black communities means just as much as the white communities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we pay our taxes, we pay the same amount of taxes as white communities pay. And so when our schools are crumbling, we need infrastructure that is there to make sure our schools are safe and secure for our kids as well.
Yes.
We need to make sure our kids have up-to-date technology, books, teachers that are well educated. So when they walk into those classrooms, they actually see themselves. And let's be honest, Black men, we need to see more Black men in our school systems. You know, that's something I've personally seen Vice President Biden talk about. We have a lack of Black men in our school systems. It's empowering to little Black boys to actually see somebody standing before them, teaching them, to tell them, hey, you can do this too. It's going to be okay. Don't let the outside world tell you anything different.
Mm-hmm.
We need to encourage that. We need to make sure we have a pipeline when we're having our HBCUs produce these students, so that way when they receive that degree and they walk out to that world, they can walk into a job that pays them. Dr. Biden, who probably tells Vice President Biden every day, you need to make sure your teachers are paid well.
Yes.
And that's something that we need to make sure that, you know, for families, education is key. You know, also
Particularly for
healthcare
our families. I mean, I can
for
think
our
across the
families.
board, but that is how we have been taught
Yes,
that this is how we're going to progress in life, how we're going to make a
absolutely.
difference for our children and our grandchildren.
That's my mother preached that every single day. I'm from Scotland County. My mama told me every day, you will go to school.
Mm-hmm.
You will get an education because you will do better than I have. Get to the next level.
That's right.
And that's what we preach every day. But it's not just education, it's a healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I get sick, can I go to the doctor? We all got a big mama who had diabetes, who lost a leg or something.
Yes.
But guess what? Because she afforded medicine that she needed.
Mm-hmm.
And so healthcare is essential to the Black community. And making sure we had doctors that look like us. And so that goes back to education and having jobs.
When you mention education, then of course my mind went straight to student loans.
Yeah,
so what is Biden-Harris ticket planning to do about student loans and those things that help us? Those are things, also barriers that help us getting into the middle class.
Sure. So the VP and Senator Harris have always talked about the barriers that, especially the students that go to HBCUs, how much it costs us for us to go to school, because we don't have parents. Most of us don't have parents who can pay for us to go to school out of pocket.
Right.
So this is why they're always talking about their plans to invest in HBCU, so they have those endowments. Mm-hmm. So they can say, hey, you know what, if you go to school, make good grades, here is a scholarship that helps you take care of your financial aid. That way, that's less money we have to borrow from. So that's less loans that we got to worry about paying when we get out of school. Mm-hmm. But guess what? When you go in the public sector, so if you do become a teacher, if you go into the government, there's ways that you can pay off your loans or pay down your debts. That way you don't have to worry about that burden. Instead, you use that money to buy your first home. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, when you go buy that first home, the vice president has laid out, hey, here's $15,000 for your first down payment. Go buy a house.
Right, because besides the fact of getting someone to loan to you, no matter what your credit, but being able to make that down payment, because if you can pay rent, especially what rents are today, you can make that mortgage payment.
You can make that mortgage payment, but you'll have that equity.
Yes.
And then you can go start that business.
Right.
You're starting those jobs. You're now a job creator.
Mm-hmm.
and you're not investing in your community. Now you're helping the next person, especially that young brother or sister that you see, hey, you need a job, let me come help you out.
That's right. That's right. And then we're all on the path to wealth building.
That's right. It's about generational wealth. And that's what that Biden Harris campaign is talking about.
Right. Because it's never too late to start. And if we even
No,
got
ma'am.
right now, it's not.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we're doing early voting.
Mm-hmm.
Record numbers. In
Yes,
record
ma'am.
numbers. Oh,
we passed 2,000. We passed 2 million people in North Carolina.
in North Carolina?
In North Carolina. But we have to keep going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be our young people. We got to get more of our young people out there voting.
Okay. Before I go, then I got to
Yes, ma'am.
let me go back a little bit because
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
talking about young people. And
Yes,
the one
ma'am.
thing that I'm seeing on social media that everybody's talking, that young people, is that
Yes, ma'am.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to put Black men in jail. That, you know, that he signed the crime bill. Let's please clear that up now.
Yes, ma'am. You know, Vice President Biden talked directly to the camera last night. First, he said he apologized for that and he will do everything in his power to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, I think, and I'm speaking, this is just LT, not LT, the state director talking. I'm talking LT, a Black woman from the Black community.
Okay. And in that age group?
In that age group, that was 100 senators that voted for that bill unanimously, that the Black caucus helped craft. In that time frame, they thought they were writing the best bill for that time frame. But guess what? In life, we evolve. We see that we didn't do the best thing. So guess what? We correct what we did wrong, and we make it better. But were people hurt in the past? Absolutely. But we have to correct what we did wrong. And I think we have plans in place that's going to help the Black community build generational wealth, educate our communities, make sure we have jobs, health care, make sure our grandparents are going to be taken care of, our parents are going to be taken care of, our babies are going to be taken care of. And for our community, that's what matters the most. Mm-hmm. And in our current administration, that is not happening.
Okay. So thank you. Very well said, because that message needs to be out there and it needs to be succinct and it needs to be clear. And you did that very well. Thank you so much, LT.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's tell people again, for those few people that may have been under a rock and don't know how they can vote, what the times are to vote, all of those things. Could you please let them know again?
Yes, ma'am. So go to iwillvote.com/North Carolina. Mm-hmm. You can find your polling location. But right now, North Carolina is early voting. You can early vote until the 30th. Mm-hmm. Your county has different times, but typically you can vote from 7:30 a.m. until 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. And on the weekends, the times vary. But if you go to this website, you can find the exact location and the exact times. Again, I'll say it, iwillvote.com/North Carolina. Please make a plan. Take your mama, take your grandmama, take your cousins, take the neighbor, take a stranger. Mm-hmm. Take everybody.
That's right.
Please go vote.
And if you did not get registered before the end of the registration period, will that create a problem?
You can still do same day voter registration while you're early voting.
That's wonderful.
It's a one-stop shop. Okay. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Okay, so that's the one thing. Yeah. So even if you didn't get registered, if you're not registered, or now suppose you get there and you think you're registered, and you find out you're not.
You can register on the spot. As long as you do it while it's early voting, you cannot register same day on November 3rd. If you have not already registered to vote before November 3rd, mm-hmm. now you're out of luck. But that's why I'm telling people vote early.
That's right.
So you know you have no problems, because if you get there before the 3rd, you can register same day.
Well, okay, and then this is airing on Saturday, the 23rd. Mm-hmm. Is there early voting today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what about Sunday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, So there's no excuse. There's plenty of time. There is still
There's
time. You have
no
from
excuse.
now to Halloween. Let's just try to remember it that way.
Now to Halloween, go vote.
Okay, now into Halloween, that you have until vote.
To vote and register to vote.
Register to vote. And I can't ask, but you certainly now, if you want to here's the time that you want to tell why and whom they should vote for.
I'm biased. Vote for Joe Biden and Democrats up and down the ticket. Flip that thing over and vote for Sherry Beasley for Supreme Court Justice and all the other judges that are also on the ballot. Please go vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was L.T. McCrimmon. She is the state director for the Biden for President campaign. I am so honored to have her with me today. Take heed of everything that she said today. I'm Phyllis Coley. You've been watching PC Politics, and until next time, see ya. Thank you.
Thank you.
Spectacular Magazine. We on the scene.